Welcome back to the C Morning Show, everyone. And as promised, it's our time to have a first discussion.
Yes.
Right? And this morning, we're gonna talk about something that's very, it's kind of like a hot topic at the moment.
Yeah.
Because everybody's talking about it in the past, maybe a year. You know, not really hot topic today, but it's been talked about. It's about sandwich generation.
Yes.
Now, Fira, when you hear that term,
Yeah.
what do you think about?
Well, sandwich generation, I think it's about someone who felt a burden due to the to have the responsibility,
Okay.
Not only for themselves but for the parents related to financial things.
Right, right.
What do you think?
I mean, that's just about right because, again, I think you are in one of that position too.
Sandwich generation.
Yes.
Well, but I don't feel burdened.
You don't feel burdened,
I
see,
don't
that's a
think
good
so.
thing, right?
Yeah.
So this is something that we want to talk about, we want to delve more detail into. So people say that sandwich generation is a result of poor or lack of financial planning, but some might ask, is it true?
Yeah.
Well, here to offer the insights is QM Financial CEO and lead financial trainer, Mbak Ligwina Hananto. Good morning, Mbak Wina.
Hello, good morning.
Hi.
I wish I could be there.
Yes, but due to the weather, it's okay, Ma. We can contact. We can connect to you through the Zoom then.
Yes, good to
All
have you.
right.
Thanks for joining us.
All right. Speaking about the
Thank you.
topic, it's about sandwich generation. So probably you can tell us more. What actually sandwich generation?
Yeah, as you were saying, sandwich generation is basically people who have to support their families. Referring to a sandwich, it means you are cut in the middle between your parents and your children. So there's a generation above you and there's a generation below you. But a lot of the times, I think in Indonesia, even people who are single or just starting out, just graduating from high school or university, they already identify themselves as sandwich generation, even though they don't have children yet. So that's kind of a difficult situation. Even before you have children, you already feel burdened. So when you have children, it's almost game over. That's how they feel about it.
Oh,
Yes, it's just-
so basically based on the descriptions,
Yes.
you are sandwich generation, Ranga.
Yes, we are, as long as we don't feel too burdened, I
Burdened,
think,
exactly.
right? Because everything in life, you really just have to go through it with as best attitude as you can,
Yeah.
right? So, but Wina, what could make someone part of this sandwich generation, you think?
Whether you like it or not, basically it's the failure of the generation before us.
you. Oh, okay.
Yeah, to be able to create wealth, to generate enough income to support themselves. And I'm not blaming anybody, but sometimes it's part of the system. Sometimes it's part of financial planning. Rather, you mentioned earlier, is it because of bad financial planning? It's not always bad financial planning. What can you plan if you don't have the money?
Yeah.
So
Right.
a lot of the times it's just because of a system, structural poverty. But then again, we have to admit it's the failure from the previous generation to generate income, to create enough wealth, to be able to provide for themselves. So it's very difficult topic to talk about, and because it's not an instant situation. It calls for 30 years of life experience.
Yes.
So because of that, you cannot expect an instant solution. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay, all right, that's fair enough because since you mentioned it, Mbak, probably it is something that it's something came out from the past generations,
Right.
basically our previous generations. So it's become normal. It's very common from grown adults to support their parents or relatives financially, not just that, emotionally sometimes. So from your perspective, Mbak, when this practice could turn into a sandwich sandwich situation?
I think being Indonesian is part of our culture. I've traveled the country from Aceh to Papua, from Tarakan all the way to Sumba, and I think it's part of our culture to take care of our parents. So whether you realize it or not, one way or another, one day we will be sandwich generation. So it's part of the way we live. But the important thing is whether you can afford it to be a sandwich generation, right? So,
Right.
so it really is not about, I want everybody to be independent. I don't think so. My parents are now 75 and they are very independent. And me and my brother are like, we're waiting when they call out and say, okay, we can't take care of ourselves anymore because we're very old, you know? But
Right.
right now, they're very independent. What do you say it in English? There's no word in English. Gengsi
Ah.
to ask for help. Right?
Yeah.
There's no word in English for it. Gengsi to ask for help. Right now, they're independent. But when they're becoming even older and can't take care of themselves, there is no way me and my brother are not going to say, we're here to help you out, right?
Right.
So it's obvious that all of us will be sandwich generation one day, but there are sad stories that I come across. For example, I've met this young fellow who told me that a third of his income goes to his parents,
Oh.
another third of it, which is normal, right? Supporting your family is something that is common in our country.
Yes.
Another third goes to pay for his parents' debt.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was a difficult situation.
Oh. Yes.
Somebody else is having financial difficulties, have to pay a loan installment. This person who has nothing to do with it has to pay for it.
Right. Right.
And he said that means he only has another third from his income, from his salary, to support himself.
Yes.
And I asked him, is that a problem for you? And he said, it's not a problem for me at the moment because I'm single.
Right.
But I'm going to get married in 2 months' time. How am I going to tell my wife, my future wife, that I only have a third of my salary to support our new life together?
Wow.
Then that becomes a problem.
Oh, wow.
Right, yeah, we really have to be careful. And you said too earlier, Ligwina, that this is not solely our problem right now, being sandwiched between the past generation with the future.
Next
But
one.
now, do we have, or I'm sure you do now, but can we do something, to make sure that this can be
To break the
dealt
cycles.
with better, or can someone prepare better? This is not, like you
Yeah.
said, this is not the present time. Of course, we're going to have to prepare our kids in the next 10, 15 to 20 years, right? So are there steps that we can actually
right.
do?
We cannot cut off the previous generation.
Right.
That's unthinkable. But what we can do is to lessen the burden for the next generation. Safira is mentioning you don't mind being a sandwich generation and you're not burdened by it. And that's how it's supposed to work.
Yeah,
Which
okay,
means
okay.
from the previous generation, when we become an older generation, when this generation will enter pension years, we have to prepare for it. So preparing for a pension, I believe, should be a national issue.
Yeah, okay.
Because if we don't prepare now, it will be difficult for the next generations to follow through.
Yes.
At the moment, for the younger generation, if you are in the condition that you're supporting your parents and your children, or when you're single and you're supporting not just your parents, maybe your uncles, your aunties, your cousins, you're single, you're only 28, but you have to pay for your second cousin university fee, for example.
Wow.
That happens a lot in this
Yes,
country.
exactly.
You're right.
What you can do is, at the moment, you need to identify what are the expenses that occur with this supporting other generation in your family. Some people, it's only small things like your mom is on Facebook, so she wants to go on another reunion every 2 weeks. You know what it's like
Yes,
right now, right?
yes,
For the
yes.
pensioner, they go to different reunions every 2 weeks, and she couldn't afford it. She can't afford it, so you have to pay for it. But it's only what, 200, 500,000 per month? That's not a big deal. But for some other people, it's more difficult because you have to pay for your monthly expenses,
Yes.
the house, electricity bill, paying for grocery shopping. For other people, even more difficult because they have to pay for medical expenses. So identify all these expenses so you understand what to prepare to pay immediately for your family. But on the other side also, make sure there's some extra income for yourself, some extra investment that you can set up so that when you are older, you're not passing on the same sandwich generation situation to the next generation.
All right. So basically, the key is the planning. To have a very good planning, especially in our financial situation, to calculate everything.
Yes,
So
yes.
we have to make sure that we don't get burdened by taking care of our loved
And
ones.
we don't pass it on.
Exactly,
That's, I
and
think,
we
also
can
important.
teach.
Wouldn't it be lovely? Wouldn't it be lovely to support your family and feel good about it?
Exactly.
Of course.
Yes.
Yes.
And one
We would
thing
love
is
that.
we teach something for the next generation
Yes.
to be responsible and not getting burdened because
Yes.
of it. So,
Yes.
Bawina, what financial planning advice would you suggest to those trapped in the sandwich generations, like how to manage earnings, spending, and savings, especially from the impulsive stuff?
I don't believe we can control people when they're being impulsive about their
Yes.
You cannot do it, Shafira.
I'm sorry.
You cannot do it.
Alright, so let's just nudge it. You know that word? You just nudge it. You
Okay.
nudge it by creating pockets of where money can go. For example, one of the most easiest way to start financial planning is to separate your cash flow.
All right.
Have a pocket of money in a bank account. Nowadays, you have digital account with pockets, you have bank account with different virtual accounts. You can separate your money. So in my opinion, money is like water. If you let it go, it will go all the way to the sea.
Yeah.
So in Bahasa Indonesia, you know that terminology, ke laut aja.
Ke laut aja.
Literally,
Yeah.
it's gone.
Right.
Your money is gone. So what you need to do is you need to separate how much money for yourself you separate in a different account, and how much money you want to spend for your family you separate into a different account. For a lot of people, this is not a good it's not an easy task to do when there's so much burden that you have to spend on your family. So I still believe that if you put the money in different pockets, it's much easier for you to control it. Because if your money is in one pocket only, in one account only, you're clouded for your judgment. How much can I spend today?
Yeah, you're
But if
right.
you put
Yeah.
separately, for example, one pocket for your daily expenses, one pocket for your weekly expenses, one pocket for your monthly expenses, and then one pocket for your family, and then another pocket for your second family, you know, your long lost cousin if they come over.
Yes.
You don't have to spend all your money for this extended family, right? But you do have some spare. So you don't have families saying, oh,
It's really good.
so stingy, she's not want to share with her own family. You can say, look, I can help you out, but this is the balance that I have in my account. I don't have so much. You need to set boundaries.
Yeah.
You need to set boundaries on how much you can help others. And I think that's very important. Remember, there's a process to it. Because if you act yourself as an ATM machine for your family, and then you will be drained completely. But if you set boundaries, how much you take care of yourself and how much you take care of other people, you can take care of other people longer if you take very good care of yourself.
Oh, that's
That's really good. That's a really good tip, good insight.
The
Bawina.
boundaries.
Boundaries,
Sometimes
yeah,
we
you really
forget
need to
about
have
that.
No,
Even
the
set
thing
the
with
bu-
pockets too,
Right.
Fira, this is really good. You know, we thought about it. We really never thought about it this way, to have different pockets when we're talking about money.
Yeah,
Right?
yes,
And Bawina, as a rule of thumb, of course, you're a financial planner. Just wondering.
Trainer.
Oh, trainer, right? Much better
I don't
than what
do the
I
planning
have.
anymore.
Okay. So is there actually a rule of thumb of how much you need to spend or you need to save? I don't know whether actually there is such a thing, or it's just, you know,
There is.
Varies, yes.
There's a ratio to it. It's called saving ratio. A lot of people, the first time I meet them, they don't have control over how much money they can save. So for example, if you receive 5 million in your account for salary, you spend it. At the end of the month, you realize you have only 100,000 to
Exactly.
save or 500,000 to save. Here's what you need to do. When your salary comes in, you need to decide the percentage you want to save, and it usually starts from 10%. And then
Okay.
it can increase to 20 to 30%. There's a challenge.
Okay.
If you are a younger person and you're not a sandwich generation, and you still live with your parents, and your parents are in very good financial condition, you need to be able to save up to 50% from your salary.
That would be
But
nice.
of course, this varies from everybody. So start with 10% and then gradually increase it as
So
you go
that's a
along.
good number to start, Bawina. Okay.
Yes, I think I follow her suggestions back then, but using the very conventional way. I'm using the envelope.
No, the
Like
envelope.
The envelope.
Yeah, it helps,
So
right?
nowadays
It
it's
works.
digital.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was when the first year of my work and stuff, I used to collect 10%.
Oh,
But
okay.
I use the 10% for holiday.
Mira needs to go on
Exactly,
holidays.
10%, and then I can manage my I think I can manage my financial at that time
Right.
because I was so like water.
She's like
You know,
water.
I was so young, get a job, get my own money, so I can buy everything. So I found her, I don't know, I think a radio show or something, and then
Yeah,
I
that's
follow
right.
that.
Good old days.
10%, and then it started increasing.
And then-
But it's right, she was right. It takes a lot of
Yes,
process,
yes,
ups and down, down, and then going up again. Amazing. So, Bawina, I think it's going to be our last question. Can we avoid to becoming a part of these sandwich generations?
The answer is no.
Oh,
That's it. Thank
Here's
you
the
very
thing.
much for your
Here's the thing.
straightforwardness.
I'm not helping. Here's the thing. The core of our culture is gotong royong.
yes.
True.
I don't think there's a single Indonesian I've met who, even those who are very independent or living abroad, there's something that connects all of us together, and that is to be able to survive together, to create wellness together, to be prosperous together.
Right.
And so, if the core of our culture is gotong royong, I would suggest we go back to it and practice it. Here's the thing. Gotong royong means 10 people helping one person. Am I
Okay.
correct?
Yes.
That's gotong royong.
Right.
What's happening with sandwich generation at the moment is one person helping 10 people.
Wow.
Right. That is wrong.
You know what? You know what it's called? It's called boncos.
Yes. Yes.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's not making any sense when one person has to be burdened to support 10 people or more.
Yeah.
So why not reverse it? Let's create a wealthier and most prosperous generation who can help others longer.
Yeah.
And
more
that's
sustainable.
why
True.
important, if you are in sandwich generation situation, talk to the extended family. Maybe there's an uncle or a cousin who is
Yeah.
actually well off and can help you out. They just don't know.
Yes,
Right.
yes. Oh, that's so true.
That's really good. We didn't really think about it this way, 10 helping one instead of one helping 10.
Yeah.
We're
that's
really
part of
good
culture. Let's
at
protect
flipping
our
numbers
culture.
there.
exactly.
Yes. Wow.
That's happening.
Eye-opener.
Yes, because it's just so normal. It's so
It's very
common.
simple concept.
And then until we realize, oh my God.
Yeah, and then
I
we
can't
realize,
do it
oh
anymore.
goodness, I only have this much to help my mom and dad, and then or I gotta go take care of my cousin there
Yeah.
who needs to go to school now.
Yeah.
You're right. Bawina is on point.
Yes, thank you so much, Mawina.
Bawina, thank you so much for your
Feel
time
good about helping others
and for the
then.
insights.
Exactly,
Yes, of
that's
course.
the most important thing. We can help others without feeling burdened, but
Yes.
still we have to breathe
Uh-huh.
to
We gotta be
ourselves as
able
well.
to
Exactly.
also take care of ourselves.
Thank you so much, Mawina. Take
Thank
care.
you, Mawina.
All right, so Ranga, I think we got that kind of new information.
Got that covered. It's a lot of insights. It's a lot of
Exactly.
tips, right? It's
Yeah.
something that for you guys,
Yes.
wherever you guys are right now, and whatever kind of situation financially that you're
I
in.
think the thing that we have to set is boundaries. That is very
Yes,
important.
that
Sometimes
is good.
we feel like, oh, I don't feel like talking to that particular person. I
Yes.
don't want to hurt their feelings.
Right.
But sometimes we
gotta set
hurt
it up
ourselves.
right away,
Exactly, but
because
not
otherwise
doing
we're
it.
going to be the ones
All
who are
right.
feeling it.
Exactly. All right. That was such a great discussion with Ligwina Hananto as well. So, and we will have a break, but we will have more updates from around the world when we return. Stay with us.